We want to talk with you about the books that feed your imagination and the vices that spark your soul.
We drink, we curse, we read things. Come sit by us. Expect no judgment, just good times.
Welcome to Paper and Vices. Books reviewed, vices indulged.
Mature content warning.
I am Victoria Papers, and on Paper and Vices we talk about the books we read, the things that annoy us in the books we read, and the vices that are getting us through our week, because we all need them.
Yes, we do. Some weeks more than others.
Says the woman drinking a giant cup of coffee out of her Great Pumpkin Believer mug at 2 hours after bedtime p.m. It's Friday, no one cares.
What kind of coffee? Like, are you just drinking, like, coffee? Or, like, is it a fancy latte that you made for yourself?
It's pour-over coffee.
Oh, nice.
So it's, like, middle. Like, it's just coffee, but I made it fancily.
Yes.
We're making that a word now.
Yeah.
Fancily.
Fancily is the word.
It makes me happy. And I can have it and lots of Advil at the same time.
Yes.
I have a bottle of mead in the fridge that I've been saving, and then I forgot it was there for a while, and I was so excited to come have it for recording tonight, and then I was just in pain, and I was like, coffee and Advil. This is like, maybe I'll just start, like, opening up the little liquid gels and squirting them in, and making, like, a cocktail, so I can feel fancy. Do, like, a shot of cold brew, and Advil, a little bit of whipped cream on top, couple sprinkles of Zoloft.
Yeah.
From when you cut your pill in half, the little things you get left in the pill cutter, just sprinkle that on
shavings,
top.
Yeah.
Little shavings, yeah.
Yeah. That's no. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. I'm actually picturing like
could have said Xanax, that's worse.
Yes. But I'm picturing, like, the oils from, like, the Advil gel caps, like,
no.
Like, making bubbles at the surface of your coffee. Like, that's the picture that I had. And then you're like, and then we'll just put the shavings. I'm like, no.
This is the most hateful mystery cooking box ever. Why is there an NSAID in here? I'm so confused. Swear to God, when we were at Disney every 4 hours, I just shook my purse at one of the two mobile adult males and was like, NSAIDs! It's great. It's old people kidding.
Next time you go, you'll have to, like, wear a trench coat and then just
you just go up to other adults in the Mexico Pavilion at Epcot and be like, hey, I gotta leave. You want some to leave? I gotta leave. I know you need it. You want a hit? Oh, you're not an Aleve person? Look at this. I got Bayer aspirin. I got regular dose and low dose. What you need, mama? That would not get me removed from property at all. It's fine. It's totally fine.
Nope. Oh man. I'm drinking my old go-to of the Josh wine. I don't remember if this is the cab or
I had some of that at your house.
The blend.
It was good stuff.
But
I had like half a glass
it
and
is
then
good
I
stuff.
Passed out.
I love so while Victoria was here, like we usually like have lots of like couch and vampire time, but we were just
visit.
We
and
were
the
just
kids
tired.
Are older than they've
it
ever
was a
been.
shorter visit
And louder.
Yes, and like plus. Like, when we're hanging out, usually it's just us. Like, we leave the kids to their own devices or with the men. And then we're just like, all right, we're going to just fuck off for a while. But, yeah, not this time. So, like, I remember one night we're sitting there and I'm just, like, falling asleep.
And it's okay, because I fell asleep
like, my
with
head's
you.
bopping.
It was fine.
Yes.
Have friends you can fall asleep reading with.
Yes. Oh, man. Good times. You know what? This actually ties into my vice, though. I'm both annoyed and pleased that my taste buds are changing to the point where, like, I drink a lot of my old go-to wines, and sometimes they just taste weird to me. Like, I don't like them. And I'm like, And I'm sure that there's reasons behind it, and I know part of it's being more like into like the medical cannabis and just not like making wiser choices. But also at
bodies
noon.
Are dumb. Most of the answers boil down to bodies are dumb.
But also bodies are dumb. So I'm like, I would like to enjoy this glass of wine. Why does it taste like ass? I don't know. Yeah, and then other times like tonight, I'm like, I'm fully enjoying this glass of wine. Yeah, I know if I go pour another one, it'll taste weird. So it's a good thing for my body, but it makes me kind of annoyed.
Switched to mixed drinks a couple weekends ago. Just like,
yeah, probably.
Okay, we have had like ounce of red, ounce of white, ounce of red, ounce of white for 2.5 hours. Should round this up.
Yep. Round it up. Yep. And it wasn't a bad decision. I don't think.
Like it went really well for me, except for the stories that my husband insisted on telling about my drunk ass ranting.
Oh my God, you were so hilarious.
I looked at him the next morning because we left the next morning. So I went out and got drunk with you and the Valkyrie. And then the next morning I went to the Magic Kingdom with my family. I remember looking at him very serious on the way there, and I was like, don't let me get drunk in front of our friends. I will never hear the end of it. That was the wrong thing to say.
That sounded like a challenge.
Didn't happen this time, but that doesn't mean it won't. So anyway, taste buds changing.
Yeah. Oh, and how this ties into my vice was that I've noticed that sometimes when I usually get like a hot oat milk mocha, and it's magical. But lately it's either given me really bad heartburn or it's tasted too sweet for me.
Oat milk is very
and
sweet.
And so I've switched it up. True. I didn't even think about that. But I mean, I've been drinking it for a good year, and it hasn't hit me as sweet as it is now. And then, so what's helped is I'll get it iced. And for some reason, it changes, it changes how, I mean, I guess that makes sense. Iced is different than hot. But I'm able to drink it that way. But the other day I was like, I want something hot. I don't want a mocha. So what I did is I got a double tall oat milk latte with 1 packet of sugar in the raw.
That sounds really good.
Perfect. So that's kind of my vice. Yeah, because I'm just like, ooh, new drink at Starbucks. This is exciting. It's a novelty because like I get the same fucking thing every time I go to Starbucks.
Hey, you have dropped the 1 pump of peppermint.
So. Anyway, that's true. That's true. But anyway, so totally just popped in with my vice early.
It does. It totally
fit.
Fits.
I could not.
My vice is I hate shaving my legs. I like having shaved legs. I hate the feel of them being hairy. I tried doing the thing where you grow out your body hair and be like free love and acceptance, and it's just because we're not used to it. And nope, still hate it. So
yep,
they had these really pretty fancy wax melts called Wax, which is wax, but it's spelled It's WAXSE. And they're not just wax. There's some kind of like weird polymer weirdness. Because I've tried at-home waxing before. With like the regular like green wax you put on the little dish. And the problem is like, if you're not very good at it, you just get wax everywhere and it hurts. Not like regular waxing hurt, but like chipping little chippies off your skin hurts. Not a fan. But I had used some of this before, like years ago, and I really liked it. So I got a big thing of that. And one night, this week or next week, I'm going to lock myself in my bathroom with a folding chair because my counter's way too high for this shit. And wax my legs and then hopefully not think about it for 3 weeks. That's the goal. And I got myself, I don't remember what brand it is, but I put it on after my shower already. I got myself, because I have all sorts of skin fuckery. Speaking of the wonders of CBD, I got myself some, it's like liquid coconut oil, body oil with hemp in it.
Nice.
It felt really nice. I didn't have any sort of icky reaction to it. So I'm hoping that if I put that on after I wax, that everybody is going to be happy. Palmer's Cocoa Butter Formula Calming Relief hemp body oil. It was like $10. It's not bad. So yeah,
nice.
I like it. And so I'm hoping, because when you go to wax, they're like, you need these $15, $35 pre and post wax things. And I'm just like, but you don't. I wax my lady stash and my eyebrows at home all the time. You just need oil and to not take a shower right before you do it. So yeah, we'll see. But that was like, I've been hemming and hawing over doing it for months. And my husband's asked me off and on, randomly, gently, kindly, for years, why don't you just wax? You hate shaving your legs. Why don't you just wax? And so he got his annual bonus this pay period, and the fancy wax was on sale for like 25% off at Ulta. And I was like, fuck this, I'm getting fancy wax.
Nice.
So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's
awesome.
That's my advice for this week. Stay tuned. In 2 episodes, it might be, hey, so this is how you should not wax your legs. It's terrible, and I don't know what I'm doing. What are you reading this week?
I have moved on to the next installment of the Kevin Herne Iron Druid series. It's called Tricked. This one's going a little slower, and I don't know if that's just because of my crazy ass schedule this week, or if I've just kind of hit this lull. I hit it with the Sookie Stackhouse
2 or 3
novels. I just tore
the one you're on now.
Which one?
It may just be the natural ebb and flow of the series. Anyway, because you were saying, like, with Sookie Stackhouse,
I just kind of got to this point where I was like, all right, I need a break. So I'll pick those back up this year. But I just, like, I tore through some, it's like, I think like 4 or 5 of those.
A lot,
and I was like,
fast for you. I have to add them to my TBR. Like, if you like them that much, they must be good.
Yeah, they're really fun. And the narration is pretty good. So he tries to do different accents and stuff, which is really nice. So I like it. I've also been picking at the new Sarah J. Maas book, which I know that we will talk about in an episode at some point.
I have thoughts.
In the next month or so.
I have.
Yeah. So it's not her best work so far, but it's not to the point where I've had to. I mean, I've really just kind of started it, so it's definitely slow moving. Like, I feel like I just started it, yet like if I look at where my bookmark is, I'm like, wow, I'm a lot further along than I thought I was.
I'm listening to it. And I started listening to it the day after it came out, which we are recording this like 2 months later after it came out.
Yeah, about that.
I am 1/3 of the way done, and I haven't touched it in weeks. It's, I'm starting to feel like authors really deserve to just be off when they're pregnant. You obviously have other things going on. Just chill.
Was she pregnant when she wrote it?
Part of the edits, or maybe they had all of it by then. I don't know, like, how her schedule works, and so maybe I should not say it has anything to do with her pregnancy. But every time in my memory that a major author has been like, I had a baby and a book in the same week, the book is like womp womp. And I think what makes me scared about this and scared to finish it. I mean, spoilers. Can't avoid them. It's been so long. That's fine. I'm not going to say spoilers, but like I've had it spoiled. The big stuff at the ending. Wow. We're going to have a talk about that.
And I have no idea. I've actually
because you don't spend 2/3 of your life on the internet. You're a person in the corporeal world. Good for you. But before I started reading it, like, her rabid fangirls on Reddit who finished it in like less than 24 hours are like, the first 40 to 60% really sucks, but then it gets good. And I'm like, that's not a good book. That's not a compliment. And like, I actually got in a fight with some people because I was like, yeah, if the first 40% is a real slog to get through, that's not a good book. And they're like, well, it just sets up the ending. Yeah. And I'm like, it has to be interesting until you set up the ending. Like, you have to. They're not all going to be a Court of Silver Flames. Like, I get that. Not every book can have an angst-riddled blowjob in the dining room of a sentient house on top of a mountain. That's fine. It was a beautiful moment for all of us to share with them intimately. But Yeah, we're gonna have to talk about it because I will go on for 45 minutes. But when even the fangirls are like, "Oh yeah, the first half sucks," like that's not good, my friends.
Oh man, what are you reading?
Reading a very cute and sweet book by an author I've never read before, L.L. Starling. It is appropriately named Between, a fantasy romantic comedy novel. And that's exactly what it is. It's quaint and weird and fantastical. And there's a hot guy. And every couple chapters you get an illustration. There's a hot guy dressed all in black with mysterious tattoos.
Nice.
Just basically like, yes.
Ooh.
Yeah. Hot guy with dark hair and tattoos. I'm in. And it's very clever and it's very interesting. And I was reading it today because I was like, why am I not done this book? I'm really enjoying it. Normally I devour books like this. I'm not done because it's like over 700 pages. Like it's a real novel length novel. Which
gotcha.
Normally I devour books so quickly, and like Ruby Dixon novels generally aren't very long. There's a lot of like novellas and novelettes, especially when you get into like the romance genres and the niche romance genres, and there's nothing wrong with that. They are perfectly sized bites. But this is like a full-size grown-up book. I'm just pacing myself and enjoying it. And I am enjoying it very much. It's about
nice.
This woman moves to a town called Old Middleton in the middle of nowhere with her best friend, who is an orphan, who has just noped out of her graduate program because she decided she doesn't really want to be a psychologist. She just wanted to be a psychologist because her dead mom was one. Yeah, a lot of stuff.
Oh,
and so
man.
She's just noping out of it and going with her best friend, who's taking up a substitute teacher position in the middle of nowhere. And Sasha, the main character, has wanderlust to the nth degree. Like it's problematic. She's backpacked across Europe and Australia until she's poor before. And she also hasn't dreamed since she was 5. And so they get to Old Middleton, and the headmistress drugs her tea, and she just starts spouting all of her truth. And Old Middleton is like picture perfect, beautiful, and kind of weird and spooky and magical. And it's very quaint and it's charming, and the dialogue is really good. And the 2 female characters, Lila and Sasha, are fleshed out really well. And it's just a ye old go to a place, do a thing, hijinks ensue so far. And then she finally has her first dream that she remembers in 20 years. And there's a hot guy. And she's like, oh, if this is the dream I get, I am here for this. And then none of the stuff she was there for happens, despite his very naked, very lovely, detailed described chest and abdominal muscles. And that's kind of a point of the book. And spoiler alert, I'm like a third of the way through the book and I will finish it, but it's not a huge spoiler because I have no idea what's going to happen. She's meeting him in a dream, but he's not a figment of her imagination, which is why the clothes he did have on stayed on. And she's just starting to realize this, and the witches of Old Middleton have revealed themselves, and it's well written, it's well paced. She paints very clear pictures with words without being overly descriptive, which I really enjoy and appreciate. Like depending on where you've been in your travels, like you can just fill in all the blanks for this town, which is great. Like she does give descriptions of like the elder trees and the gate that they just say is, an old thing. It's part of our town, which obviously it isn't. It's got glitter on it. It's magic. There's a big old gate. Oh, that's not magical. This is a novel. I know what's up. But you can totally picture like the boarding house they're staying at with a very strict mistress who has like 5,000 little ceramic tchotchkes. Yeah, it's very rich, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So I honestly don't even know if L.L. Starling has other books out, but if they do, I'll be reading them. I assume it's a she. Maybe I'm sexist. I assume really cool. that all great sci-fi authors are women or a team that includes a woman. Shame on me.
It's usually that case. I think a lot of it is we read so many women authors.
So yeah, I'm just, post-vacation craziness, kid going back to school, trying to get back in the swing of things, reading a good book that's not part of a series, not forcing myself to read a book I'm not enjoying, doing the things, reading before bed and being happy.
Yeah.
It's
not a bad place to be.
So if you have read Crescent City Mark II, House of Sky and Breath, I would love to know what you think, because I have pages of thoughts. I haven't typed them, but if I did, there would be pages. Lee does as well. If you have read anything by L.L. Starling, because I had never heard of her, I would love to hear from you. You can find us everywhere online at Paper and Vices, including Patreon. We have stickers and sparkly things and content you're not going to get elsewhere. And you can email us, lee@paperandvices.com or victoria@paperandvices.com. And that's it.
In the meantime, don't be an asshole. Smoke a joint and take care of yourself.
This has been a production of Paper and Vices, LLC. Copyright 2022. This episode is presented for entertainment purposes only, and any vice should only be pursued within the legal boundaries, common sense, and personal responsibility of each person. Please check your local laws and do not engage in any form of bitchassery. The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the individual hosts and guests only, and do not in any way represent the views of Paper and Vices, LLC, nor any named persons, nor should they be considered personal, medical, or legal advice. Previous episodes and other commentary can be found at paperandvices.com and patreon.com/paperandvices.